Good morning, guys. I just wanted to catch you this morning and show you what I'll be painting today. It's early. I don't even have my makeup on. You guys are seeing me at my worst, but the light this morning is absolutely phenomenal. I love the way it lights up. My studio's all lit up. And you can see how dirty my windows are that need cleaned, which I can't do because I'm in these freaking cam boots. But anyway, it's so bright in here. But outside, the light is absolutely amazing. See how it's shining on the trees? And for those of you who are beginners, you can see that the darkness on this side, the shadows are there. You see the light coming through, and then there's bits of branches that are scattering along. It hits this tree differently because it's at a different angle to me. But isn't it beautiful? I thought, I've just got to paint this today. So that's what we are going to do. The way I'm starting out is I put in my preliminary sketch. As you can see, it's in red pencil. And now I'm going to go in with a brush and I'm just going to lightly water the background area so that I can get some green on the paper for my forest background. Now I'm just starting out with some sap green gouache. I'm not using watercolor, but gouache, and you can use gouache thinly. I've heard some people argue about that online before, that you can't thin gouache down. But although gouache is not watercolor, it is its own medium, it acts like watercolor, so you can make it as dilute as you want, and you can build it up in layers. Now, some cheap gouaches that make their gouache opaque by adding white to them make it difficult to add layers because it can crack. But good designer gouache does not do that. So that's why I recommend certain brands, because you can build up the gouache as many layers as you need to, and it won't be interfering or causing cracking down the road. So I'm just putting a bit of sky in and a little more color in the background before I start on the foreground area. I'm just going ahead to mix my tree bark color. So I was grabbing some black and some more burnt sienna and a little bit of white to mix that color. I thought you could see my palette, but apparently it wasn't in frame. I apologize for that. I know some of you like to see me mixing, but I've told you the colors, and I just go back and forth until I get the light that I need, the shadow that I need, and I go from there. The brushes that I use for my gouache are mostly flat brushes, sometimes angle brushes, but I prefer flats for gouache, and I like to have them a little bit on the stiffer side. So I use golden Taklon or something similar to that. Golden Taklon tends to hold up to a lot of wear and tear pretty well, which is why I lean toward those. These have some kind of black and gray look to them, and I'm not sure if they're like synthetic badger or something like that. I don't know. They were cheap brushes though, and I go cheap because I do a lot of scrubbing with gouache in dry brushing, and that kind of wreaks havoc on brushes over a while. I won't use my good watercolor brushes with gouache. Here I'm just filling in the hills with some debris, just putting that in the background. Most of it's going to disappear, but if a little bit of it shows through, then it comes across as debris on the ground, like old leaves, branches, etc. To be honest, I was reconsidering even posting this video because I'm not real happy with the way the painting turned out, although a lot of people said they liked it. I feel like it was way too bright in the background, and I needed to deepen the background so that the foreground light stood out. So if you're doing this painting, I would recommend, where I have all that light green up in the trees area, that it should be made much darker so that these trees up front get the limelight, so to speak. And then where I'm painting these leaves on right now, you want to make sure that the background is even darker than those leaves, so that these leaves that I'm painting on will show, or just make them slightly lighter, not a lot lighter, because you want the ones that are way up close to be bright. And we usually work from dark to light with gouache, but it's not necessary. Another way that you can apply these leaves is slowly let that brush dry out and dry brush the leaves on. It gives it a really cool effect as well. You wouldn't want that everywhere, but especially if you're putting leaves on distant trees, dry brushing is really nice, or diluting it and making it fade out in a foggy sort of way also works, and then make your leaves more distinct as they come forward. And when you're applying leaves, just let the brush dance across the paper lightly. Hold your brush way back like I am doing on the handle, not up close to the ferrule, and you'll get a better looking branch full of leaves. They don't have to be perfect leaves at all. Then this next brush I'm using is a brush that has little pieces of bristle missing on the tip so that I can put grass in. I'll be posting a photo real quick here of the brush and the name of the brush so that if you're interested in it, you can buy it. But you have to be careful using this brush, because if you're not, each stroke will look like the width of that flat brush, and you don't want that to happen. Now I'm just kind of adding in little ground cover plants here and there. And again, they don't have to be perfect. You're just filling in space. On the foreground, I'll get a little more exact with the ferns, but still not too distinct. I want them to be pushed into the background. Only the foreground should be very detailed.
Now I'm going in with the lighter leaves for the foreground trees. And this is where it would have been nice to have a darker background so that that really pops. I don't know what I was thinking at the time, probably because I hadn't done a painting in so long, I just wasn't paying attention, but I probably would have used a green made with indigo or indanthrone or something deep like that. I'm keeping the brush fairly dry while I'm putting these strokes in, and I'll keep filling and overlapping the previous strokes so that I don't get the 1/2 inch wide grass everywhere. Now I'm going to be going back and forth from the dark color in rose to the lighter color of grass in order to give the illusion of light coming across the grass and onto the trees. Layering your values on the grass is really key in order to getting the light correct. I went in with a dark green, then on those other rows a medium green, and now I'm going over that medium green with an even lighter green. Well, that's pretty much it for this video. If you liked the video, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and I will talk to you all soon. And in the meantime, remember, be courageous, paint with wild abandon, and most of all, be kind to each other. Take care, God bless you, and I'll see you soon.